I'm going to demonstrate on CJ how to flawlessly execute a low drop skin fade, and I'm going to texture crop the top.
Andy Fade Master.
I'm going to start with a trimmer, and this trimmer is the Gold FX skeleton trimmer from Babyliss. So starting off here, I'm going to start to skin up a little tiny bit higher than what I would normally do on a skin taper. And then what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna just imagine I'm doing the exact same thing with the back. Is you have to make sure that when you look at it from the side, it has a nice aesthetic all the way down and all the way around. I'm now gonna take my Babyliss FX and start to create that first guideline. But what I'm gonna do is, as I create this guideline, and all I'm doing is I'm holding the clippers in my fingertips, and I'm just going straight up and down. So now I'm gonna take my 0.5, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go now, we're gonna erase the bottom line, and then we're gonna erase the top line, and then transition that all with the scissors. I'm gonna start with my lever close, and I'm just gonna start to tap at that line a little bit. And as I tap on that line, and it starts to lift it, what I'm gonna do is click it back one, and continue to lift that line slightly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit this line, then I'm gonna click back once, tap the line again, and then I'm gonna click it back and tap the line again. And we're gonna start with the lever closed. So now I'm gonna take my one guard, and I'm gonna lightly begin to feather out this line here. I'm gonna continue to remove and lighten this bulk. And another thing I want you to notice is I'm starting in the exact same place that I've started for every single guideline. So I'm gonna go straight up and raise this line slightly. So what I wanna do is I'm gonna take my tube with my lever back. So as I go in, you guys can watch really closely that it's not eating any of the hair. But once I get to that transition part, the two guard, because I know exactly what level this hair needed to be, the two guard is actually gonna start cutting right here. And as you guys can see, if I keep my hand straight, and sometimes I force the hair through the comb, you'll see that it starts to eliminate a lot of that bulk. What I do is every time I'm doing touch-up work, I'll keep a guard in my hand so that I can transition easily. So I know I'm gonna need the one guard. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transition between the 1 and the half seamlessly in seconds. So right now, there's pretty much no hairline unless you pull it up and you start looking under. But I'm not gonna go by this natural hairline because I wanna create him a hairline with the long hair on top. I'm gonna use only one corner of the blade, and using small circles, I'm gonna just start to round off and then make sure that the hairline and the eyebrow have the same thickness throughout the curve. I'm gonna now work on this top. I wanna make sure that I wet the hair very well. And I'm gonna pull the hair straight, and I'm gonna make sure all the hairs that are overlapping are actually smoothly shaped in. And I'm gonna comb the hair up. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim it, adding a slight amount of texture to it. And when I'm adding texture, it means I'm not cutting blunt cuts. I'm actually using point cutting, small little sections. I'm pulling the hair perpendicular to the head, and I'm making sure that, I don't cut the hair completely blunt and completely even. So as I start here, I'm gonna start to cut. As I get towards the front, I wanna make sure that I'm paying a lot of attention and not going into the fringe in the front. For this hairstyle though, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a matte paste, and on the matte paste, I'm gonna actually apply it to the hair while it's wet in order to create sort of like a primer. So what I'm thinking here is, I'm gonna add a nice super duper clean part to the side. Now what I'm gonna wanna do is I'm gonna wanna make sure that the line starts somewhere around the middle and then it has some elevation. So what I'm gonna do is I create a small little sloppy copy. So I'm going over this 1 or 2 more times to make sure that there's no humps, steps, jumps, or anything on the top of this line. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start to lightly brush the top of their hair. Now, once I lightly brush the top of their hair with my hand, I really want you to see what starts to happen here. So what's happening is we're getting the bond between the long hairs, the short hairs, the long hairs, the short hairs. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you guys learned something. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, man. I'll see you guys on the next video.